Hey guys, it's M4J here and welcome back to the Jeffries network on OpenTTD. Now today we are building the Great Western extension, and again I've forgotten the name of the city in which we extend it to. We don't actually extend it to a city as such, we extend it to an area between a number of towns and cities where perhaps in the future we'll have some buses that connect everything up. We also build a connection here between the Great Western Line and the Coastal Line. It's not really going to be used any time in the future, in the near future at least. It will be used in the far off future. But I just wanted to build it in at the start of this episode just so I knew roughly where it was going to be, so that the rest of my lines wouldn't be affected by this particular junction. And I think overall it's actually turned out quite well. The area around Plinton was one of my least favourite areas on the network, but you saw at the beginning of the episode there, I did some rebuilding work, changed some of the platforms. I'm actually pretty happy with the result. It certainly made running trains through the station a heck of a lot easier, and we do still have terminus platforms for trains that have come from GSP, and also trains that have come off from the coastal line to the north. We don't have a southern set of bay platforms for trains coming off the coastal line, but at the end of this episode I do add an extra couple of platforms in for trains coming off of the Great Western Line, but you'll see that in just a second. Now, as this line, it kind of has two formats. It has the express tracks running between the local tracks, as it does between GSP and Woolworth, and then it has the express tracks running alongside the local tracks, as it does between Woolworth and the new station, which I really must remember the name of. One thing that is cool about this is the local tracks are on the eastern side of the four tracks, and the majority of towns we pass by on their western side, so the local tracks are always the two tracks closest to the town. And it was a pure accident that that's how it ended up being, but I'm really glad it ended up being that way round, because it makes life so much easier when it comes to building stations with decent catchment zones. So we got a bit lucky there. Overall, with this 4-track main line, I'm quite happy with it. I must admit, I haven't built any junctions on this line. There is one junction, and you'll see me zoom out and check the location of that junction in just a minute. But I haven't built any crossovers or anything like that, because I'm coming off the back of having finished getting the trains running on the Guard City Eastern main line, and I have to say, getting the trains running over the junctions properly is probably one of the most painful experiences of my life, because they just did not want to go where they were meant to go. I think I've fixed it now though. I had to move some signals, I had to change some logic, and I had to move some waypoints and things like that, but I think I've got it working. So the Meridians and eventually the HSTs continue to work on the express tracks, and the 158s continue to work on the local tracks. And at the end of this episode we end up with three categorizations, shall we say, of train, three categorization of services, and three different types of train. As I say, I'm really happy with it. We do have a non-stop express as well that runs between GSP and the new station, and 125 miles per hour sounds like a lot, but when you're watching an HST travel along a route that's this long, I think it still took, I think it's over half an hour, I'm sure, for the HST to reach GSP. And that's one of the reasons why I will explain this a little bit more, because I'm going to start revealing what's going to be happening in episode 200 from this episode onwards. But that's one of the reasons why I will not be doing a network overview, or at least not one where I show a train that traverses the entire network, because it's going to take an hour per line, and we have more lines now than we did before on the old map. So you can see why that's not really going to work time wise. We end up with an extremely long episode. But as I say, overall I'm really happy with this Great Western extension. We have a brand new station on the network, a huge station that hopefully has been built in a way where it's going to work efficiently and not hold up trains. Once again, it's a little bit short-sighted of me because I've only built bay platforms in one direction. So I'll be assuming that trains running through from the other direction won't terminate but will instead run straight through and continue onwards. I suppose I could reveal the three classifications of trains right now. So we have the 158s again. I think they're 158s. The little DMUs, the 3-card DMUs. So we've got a 3-card DMU and we've got a 6-card DMU. So 2 3s combined. I don't know why I said that. I'm pretty sure you guys can do the maths. Oh yeah, I cut this huge river through the landscape here as well. So I suddenly realised there's 2 lakes there that we can connect together for shipping purposes. So I thought that'd be quite cool. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, the little DMUs. We also have some HSTs, and we have some Class 180 Atalantes, I think they're pronounced. However they're pronounced. They are a very close relative of the Meridians that we used in the last episode. They are built both by Bombardier. I nearly called them Bombardier then. In fact, I need to check that. Is the Class 180 built by Bombardier? I believe it is. I believe they are. In actual fact... Oh no! The Class 180 was built by Alstom. Ah yes, that's right. That's right. So, Adelante is the name that First Group gave the 180s. The First Group being the company that owned the Great Western franchise, First Great Western. And I believe they still do. There are also 180s that are used by Hull Trains. They are not called Adelantes. They are called something else. I'm trying to remember what they're called. But the 180s are related to the Cavier 1000 family. If anyone's seen the trains that Arriva have, the 175s, and how unusual they look, they're actually a lot older than I thought. I thought they were quite new trains, but they're between 16 and 18 years old now, which is quite something. But yeah, they're close related. The 175s and the 180s. Also the Junipers, the 458s and the 460s that are used out of Waterloo. They're also related to the Caviers and I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But the Cavier and the Adelante. I need to remind myself what the Hull Trains ones are called. And they're not related anyway, like I thought they were, to the 222s, which are the Meridians. The Meridians are actually related to the Voyagers, I think, and the Super Voyagers. And I'm using the word related. It sounds like a really strange thing to say. Just in general. Trains cannot be related. There is no DNA in a railway vehicle. But anyway, that's by the by. Right now on screen you'll see me build the only major junction on this route so far. This is a junction that actually, the little stretch to the west of that junction down to another junction that I will build in the future. In fact, this is the station site that I'm building here as well. This is actually a lot faster than I thought it would be. We're only 8 minutes in. I'm sure this video is 36 minutes long. So I'm building the station a lot sooner than I thought. Anyway, that little junction that I built was to connect to the line coming southwest out of Fort Flunwood. So there will be a small period of it that will be electrified at third rail. And then that will branch off again and continue heading down the coast. And probably will end up terminating down an interchange with the coastal line. But I haven't fully decided yet. I'm just doing some more reading about the Class 180. I wish I could remember the name. Anyway, Adelante is only the name given to the ones that work on First Great Western, or Great Western Railway, as the majority of it is now called. The rest of them, so the ones that work for Hull Trains and Grand Central? Yeah, Grand Central use them as well. They have different names, if any names at all. Although I have just read here that the Class 180s have been fitted with the same engine as the Voyagers. And in fact the Class 185s, which are built by Siemens. So there you go. 3 different train builders, but they all use the same engine. It's quite interesting. Let me see if I can find... Ah! Okay, so the Class 222s have all been given different names depending on what company they work for. So Hull Trains had some 222s as well, but they're called Pioneers, not Meridians. That's where I got confused. And I don't think Hull Trains or Grand Central have any names for their 180s. They do not, by the looks of it. Anyway, that was a nice piece of education, wasn't it? Should we talk about something else? Let's talk about the future of the series whilst I'm building this big station. And you can watch me make an absolute mess of it to begin with, but slowly fix it over time. So, I'll make it sound like I'm going to announce that the series is ending. I'm not announcing that. The series will continue. What I'm most concerned about at the moment is time. Even today, I'm struggling to get this episode finished and uploaded on time. And that's to say that I actually recorded the footage for this a couple of days ago, but didn't have any time to record this commentary. There are some solutions to this. The first of which is I've already done this, but I'll announce it officially. I will be reducing the upload schedule from 3 episodes a week to 2. The next announcement will be that more videos in the future will also be in time-lapse format. The reason I choose that over live building at the moment is it means that late at night, if I suddenly feel inspired to make a video, I can do a quick recording of a couple of hours of footage, which is exactly what I did with this. This video was originally 2 hours 26 minutes long, and I've managed to get it down to half an hour, well, 36 minutes. Which I'm quite surprised at. I thought it was going to be 40 minutes at least. But I actually recorded the footage for this at 2:30 AM, something like that, because I knew I had to get the footage recorded at some point. So I sort of rushed it a little bit. I didn't rush it, because I already had it planned, but I did it at a really spontaneous time of day. So that's why time lapses are currently easier for me to make. The other solution I had in mind is to carry on making these time lapses, but with no voiceover, or with minimal voiceover, maybe just an intro at the start explaining what's going to happen. And the reason that makes it easier is it's the reason why I'm struggling to get this episode finished today. I've got a really busy day today, but I still have to try and find 36 minutes to get this voiceover recorded if I talk the whole way through the video. There's a good chance that I might not talk the whole way through the video. 36 minutes is a long time, and I might just leave the music to take over. I know not everyone is happy with that, but I mean, I'm busy now with lots of different things and trying to keep my upload schedule. In a couple of weeks' time, I think it's the 23rd, I go back to university for my final year. If anyone here watching this has done their final year at uni, you'll know how hectic that can be. This is actually quite special for me because I've been at uni for quite a few years now, as I've alluded to in the past. This is my first time I've ever done a final year, so I'm taking it very seriously. That's what I'm saying. So my time will be mostly devoted to university work. There will be times where if I'm working on a project and if I can get permission from my my tutors, I will be making videos on my project. So I will still have an upload schedule, and of course I'm not going to drop everything because I do enjoy doing this. It's my escape from work essentially, and it is also my work. I consider this to be part of my work. So I don't want to give it up, is what I'm saying, which is why this series isn't ending. It's just being moved and changed slightly in order to create some time, because that's the main thing right now, is creating time. Right, I do actually have the game open in my other window. So the new station, the one that I've just built on screen for you, is Munfingford Paragon. Very heavily inspired by Hull, as I'm sure you can work out. Hull Paragon is one of the weirdest stations I've ever seen, to be honest. It's, as far as I'm aware, half the station isn't even used anymore, but the tracks are still there. That's kind of what I got from looking at pictures of it. It's built in Paragon Square in Hull, which is why it's got the name. I always thought Paragon was a weird name, but I understand it a bit more now because it's named after something, which makes more sense. But yeah, this station is, the name at least, is inspired by Hull. the actual design of it is sort of not really based on anything in particular. At a push, I would probably say it's based on something a little bit like London Bridge, where you've got terminus platforms but also through platforms, and more trains go through than will actually terminate. As I say, we've got 5 services at the moment that currently terminate at Motherboard Paragon, ranging from Super Expresses all the way to GSP, right the way down to a little local DMU service that only goes as far as Plindon Junction. In fact, both DMUs only go as far as Plindon Junction. One's an all-stopper, one stops at just some of the main stations. We also have the 2 180s, one of which is actually a pair of 180s. So that's a 10 carriage long train, which is the longest train that runs on this line. All the services that we used to have, all the 6 car or the 6 tile long DMUs, I've scrapped them. They've gone completely. I've also temporarily gotten rid of the Great Winfield Express. Great Winfield? I think it was Great Winfield on this side. It might be Rinston. No, it's Great Winfield. It is Great Winfield, yeah, GGA. So yeah, I'm going to have to reintroduce that at some point as well. What else should I talk about? Ah yes, episode 200. Let's start talking about that. And I've put in brackets, don't give too much away. So I've had loads of suggestions. I've had people saying, most of the people have said do big builds, and a couple of people have given me ideas for big builds. I like that idea. I mean, most of these builds at the moment are big builds anyway on these new lines that we've built, but these are all building up to something. Every single line that we've built in the last few episodes will be used within episode 200. And I'm trying to think of a cryptic way to leave a clue. There will be a lot of change on the network in episode 200, and even the next few episodes from here on will be preparing for that change. And that's pretty much all I can say today. I will be giving away a little bit more tomorrow, and in every episode leading up to the big one. There might be a gap between episode 199 and 200, like there has been in the past, so that episode 200 goes out on, let's say, a Friday. That will give me the whole week then to work on the episode. So I'm not feeling the pressure to get it out within a couple of days. I'm trying to find ways to make my schedule easier for me, but at the same time I'm not making it easy for myself, because I've just started this new Minecraft series. You haven't checked that out, go check it out. Guard City project. Not actually related to the Guard City in this map, but it's a name that I used for a university project. So I've carried the name on. In fact, I spend the first episode of that new series talking about what the series is about anyway, so you might as well hear it from me in the past than me try and sum it up really quickly right now. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I'm thinking of transferring my Planet Coaster series to live streams, and then uploading the live streams maybe as a time lapse, just to try and make my schedule again a little bit easier. So Friday nights maybe I'll do a live stream of Planet Coaster, and then I'll upload it at the same time on a Tuesday. That's just an idea I've had. I'm never going to live stream this series, because I always feel this series is better made as videos, but some of my other series I might do it as live streams, just because you can be a bit more relaxed in a live stream. You actually get to talk to people live as you're working. You get instant feedback. I always find it, when I make a video and upload it, sometimes, there's me knocking my drink over, sometimes, I mean, I'll refer to my figures that I have with me right now. My first episode of Guard City did really well. Got about the same as my OpenTTD views. The second one, not so good. But then it has only been up for 15 hours, I think. Something like that. At the time of me recording this commentary, of course. Oh, you can see me rebuilding Great Winfield Airport Station as well. I didn't have to do this with Woolworth, thankfully. But I did have to do it here because I wanted some through tracks. So the 10 tile long platforms have been moved out one, which does mean the third rail platform has been moved over to the other side, right up against the runway, which I didn't usually want to do, but there you go. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, viewing figures. Viewing figures as a whole have been a little bit discouraging recently. A couple that have got over 100. It's very inconsistent. There's one that's 96, the next one's 111, the next one's 79. And not many people... I mean, I don't like negativity. I think I've made that quite clear. I don't like negativity in my videos. I don't like people saying, you're doing this wrong. But I don't mind constructive criticism. If someone says it would be better if you did this. I guess what the problem I have is I don't like people where they come across as demanding. Like, do this, do this, do this. If someone suggests something, like it would be easier or it would be better if you did this, of course I'm going to listen to those. That's one of the reasons why I like live streams, is because you get that instant feedback. Someone might say, oh, you should have done that instead. And straight away I know, ah yeah, I'll learn that for next time. And, you know, the people get to see me learn as well as I get to see their feedback. So, it's quite good. It's a working system, that's the main thing. But, yeah, video making, it's fun, but it does have its times. Talking to a screen the whole time can get a little bit boring, a bit lonely, not wanting to sound tragic, but there you go. Anyway, I'm getting some trains out, that's what I'm doing now. Now I've started a new system. In the past I've sort of just built trains and ran them as I see fit. Right now I'm trying to start a system where the first train on the line is always the fastest. So in this case it's the non-stopper between Paragon and GSP. And then we work our way down to the all-stopping DMU. So it's not too bad. It's a working system. It means that the fast trains aren't held up by the slower trains. And what's great about this is I finished setting up these trains. When I did this with the Eastern line, there was a problem with the routing and the pathing. And so I finished setting the trains on their way to autofill their timetables, went to sleep, woke up, and it was all a mess. I had to basically restart all of the trains. And when I say restart, I mean like completely remove their orders, get rid of those trains, get new trains with the same orders, and start again from scratch. That was a nightmare. I learned from that because I double checked and triple checked all the signalling this time around. Because this time around, once I'd finished recording this episode, I set all the trains on their way, went to sleep, woke up, and they were still working. And that is, it's one of the reasons why this series has sort of taken a few twists and turns lately, is I'm getting less and less patient with myself really when things don't work first time, and I get very disillusioned by it all. But then I do something like that where I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up a few hours later and it's all working, and it just reignites my inspiration. It makes me want to work again, and I suppose it's a good thing. You know, it means it is working. It also means that I can release loads of new trains on loads of new services, knowing full well that they will work at each point along the way here. As long as I use the right orders, the train will work. That's a big deal. That means a lot. You can see here I'm setting up the non-stopper train at the moment, and I'm doing some signalling as well, just to make sure that I mean, I shouldn't really have to do this for ones like this particular bit, because the train should know to run through anyway, but it's nice to be able to block off some of the freight trains, because I felt like some of the freight trains would actually start running through the central bit and hold up the expresses. So that's kind of the reason why I've gone away and done this, and added those extra signals in. I'm debating as well, a bit like with the Guard City Eastern line, I'm debating getting rid of the train depot at the GSP end and just having storage sidings that the train will run in and out of to clear out some platforms. That's kind of what I'm tempted to do now, but I'm waiting to see how well it works once I've released all of the trains on the network. Anyway, I think that pretty much does it for me talking in this episode. I don't really want to be sitting here umming and ahhing trying to work out what to say next, so I think I'm just going to let the music take over. I haven't actually planned out Monday's episode yet, and I'm away the majority of tomorrow, Saturday, so I could end up rushing Monday's episode as well, but I'll have to do that if I'll have to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. You get to see me plan out the trains. The rest of this is pretty much just planning out all the orders of the trains. And again, you get to see how I get one lot of orders and copy it to the next train and then just add in the missing stations. It's quite an effective system. It's worked out quite well. But that does do it for this episode. Well, it does it for me talking. I'm going to let the music take over for the last 10 minutes or so. And then yeah, we'll come back on Monday and we'll do another big construction project. By the feel of it, we're going to start working. I think what I'll do next episode actually is get that third rail line from Fort Flunwood and connect it up to the Great Western Line and then down and beyond. I think that will work out the best. So until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course if you're enjoying the series, drop some comments down below with ideas for future episodes. Also, constructive feedback is allowed. Just don't be too negative about it and don't be too demanding about it. I think those are two easy parameters to meet. Besides that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys for your continued support. Enjoy the music, and until next time, I will see you soon.